welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for joining us. It's finally
Free-for-all Friday. We got chemtrail talk today. We've got trivia today.
We got Antarctica talk. We got S51 talk.
I
and we got some farm
should be in
talk.
studio because if I'm not in studio, it's
Who's gonna kick us in the
run
butt?
amok. And I've actually done that.
I've still got a boot print on my behind from you being in here last time.
He showed me last week. I saw it.
Yeah.
By the way, you
know
got
what?
some nasty boots if those things are leaving like the eyelet holes left in there.
Well,
You can tell it's a
those are
boot.
actually really awesome Red Wing boots. Thank you, Teresa at Red Wing Shoes.
Made
up
out of
on
real
Main Avenue
steel,
for
too, by the
providing
way.
me. Yeah, she gave me those boots. And so, Dean, that's just a negative impact on you.
Thanks,
like,
Teresa.
Yeah, this is for Wysocki when it gets out of hand.
Hey, if you guys want to join us for a free-for-all, finally Friday, 701-293-9000 is the Red Wing Shoes phone line. Talking about anything you guys want to talk about, or if you just want to join in on what we're chatting about, feel free to give us a ring and give us a little chat. As always, you can reach us via email as well at weather@flagfamily.com and ag@flagfamily.com. Remember, we are live streaming every single day. If you want to see the shenanigans we do behind the voice, you head over to YouTube, Facebook, or Acres TV, and you can watch us over there as well. And speaking of YouTube, Facebook, we just had our episode 5 launch today for Here We Grow. If you're watching on the live streams, you can see a little bit of that footage. And for those of you who are not watching, I have a little teaser of what the episode is going to be about for this week.
Well, we made it to the field.
Yep, and we finally got another episode out, checking out what our field looks like.
Yeah, but we're not actually going to get in the field yet. We are going to talk about weed control.
Weeds, huh?
Not that weed.
Aw. So that's the teaser for today's episode that just launched. And as Bridgette had mentioned, we're at the field, but we are not planting. We are still soaking wet, as I'm sure a good handful of fields are still.
Right. And Bridgette, based on the moisture that was in Jim's field out there, how many dry days will we need for Jim to be able to get out and plant?
I'm going to say 7.
All of them. We need all of them dry so we can get there. There's no way to pick that, right? If we get through the weekend, just based on how tacky that field was, and again, we were probably in a pretty small area of our 20 acres. If we can get sunny, a little bit of wind, and some breeze throughout the weekend, we likely could be seeing that field get planted Tuesday or Wednesday next week. But it was fairly wet, and I'm going to throw my teaser in on top of this. If you want to know why I took a red Solo cup to the field and it has zero to do with mixing drinks, you're going to have to listen and watch the video out on YouTube and our website to see.
If it doesn't have anything to do with making drinks, then why were we making drinks when we got done?
I left before you did. I don't know what happened.
I wonder who that was
gone.
then. Well, now I'm just confused.
I thought it was just for beer pong.
Apparently, there's
we
all sorts
actually-
of uses for it. It's pretty interesting, actually.
All right.
Are we actually going to get that warm, dry, sunny weather I was asking for?
Well, of course we will. It's just that, like, middle next week, like another chance for rain. So
We'll get it through Tuesday. We'll be dry through Tuesday. And
Okay,
and
that's a good sign.
it does turn breezy next week. We'll be a little breezy tomorrow, but we'll have 4 days. 4 days of dry weather. So that should help out. But Justin's convinced there's no way
I don't
that we
think-
get
I
in the
don't
field
know.
next week.
This is my first time ever paying attention to how fast a field dries out, but in my opinion, I don't think that we'll be there. Bridgette, do you think 4 days of dry, warm 70s to low 80s is enough to throw a 25,000-pound tractor on top of that?
I think we'll be in the field mid next week if it dries out. Now, I don't think we're going to get to your pipe dream of 65 bushels to the acre on that soybean field.
Oh,
I'm
I
hoping
got my
for the best
tricks.
for you.
I got my tricks.
Well, good.
You just wait.
We'll keep that in mind. One of our sponsors, Gowan Company, they'll be able to help us get there, not only with herbicide potential, but also if it stays wet like this, we're going to have to think about fungicide options. And one of them could be a Fiance from Gowan. That's going to be one of their fungicides. 2 modes of action. We'll be talking about that next week when the Gowan rep and I actually go to our field as well and have a little discussion about fungicides.
It's going to be another fun episode.
It should be.
We definitely will be. So what do we want to talk about here? We got a handful of ag topics. We got a weather forecast to take a look at. But do you got anything right off the top of your mind you want to do, Dean?
Let's run down the quick forecast over the next few days. We've got clearing skies rapidly going to move into the FM area over the next hour or so. Already clear up around Grand Forks where temperatures are pushing 60, while we're stuck in the 40s currently right now. I mean, it's jacket weather out there, but the good news is we'll see full sunshine here within the next couple of hours. That will warm us up, yes, pretty quickly. Into the lower 60s by evening. So your evening, if you have any a little tea time or
maybe some grilling weather.
The grilling weather looks good. 5K is going on for the Fargo Marathon this evening. That weather looks good. And then we'll cool it off again tonight. Another one of those nights you'll probably want to kick on the heater. Low 40s, and then the weekend looking fabulous. Mid to upper 70s over the weekend with breezy conditions on Saturday, winds a lot lighter on Sunday, and then we're in the 80s for Monday and Tuesday of next week. Next chance of rain, albeit slight, coming in Wednesday. It doesn't look like a whole lot. A better chance of accumulating rain as we head towards the end of next week, and wouldn't you know it, into the following weekend for Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, that's just a given. Hey.
I have a question.
That's what horses eat.
Okay. Yes, it is, actually, and straw as well. Now, is it true that fish bite more during a rainstorm? We've already got the fishing opener going on in Minnesota. That started last weekend. So, guys, is it true?
We need Steve Carney on this one. I know
he's listening, by the way.
I know they become more active as a front approaches. Immediately after a front goes by, they go silent, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. So do they bite more when it's raining? I'm going to say yes.
I would say that they bite more just before it's going to start raining, just before you get like that big pressure drop.
Okay, here's what I got for you. It depends on the fish, and water temperature is one of the factors. Rain increases oxygen levels, stirs up the water, can increase food availability, and even give the fish a little bit of camouflage. But it can impair their visibility so that they can mistake a lure for food. But if it's a heavy rain, some fish will not do a thing until the water settles down. So for all you fishermen out there, I can't wait to hear if that's all true or false in your world. Go get them, big walleye hunter. Let me know how it turns out.
Yeah, because
that's you.
I know when we were ice fishing for walleye, we had a front coming through, and immediately after the front passed, it was supposed to be silent. Yet that's when I caught my northern when we were ice fishing. Immediately after the front pushed through, it was supposed to be pretty quiet, and I guess it was for walleye because nobody else caught any walleye, but I caught a huge old pike. So
I've never
the one walleye.
You're right. Yeah,
I've never pulled a walleye through the ice.
Oh, that's fun.
I go out ice fishing often, not in the last couple of recent years, but I did a lot before then. I've never pulled a walleye through the ice. Perch, crappies, bass, northern, and eel pout.
Ooh, those are ugly.
Yeah. But never a walleye. But I catch walleye all the time in the summer.
Maybe next year is your year. We just don't know that yet when we get ice back later this fall. And I don't want to talk about ice yet because it's just finally
later
gone.
This month.
So give me some time. Hey, give me some time. So speaking of things that have been happening in these months, I've got a little story for you, and that is coming out of South Dakota.
Do you need some background music?
I suppose you could. Story time. Not that one.
Oh.
Okay. So South Dakota's FFA members got together for their state convention here in April. And they not only participate in contests and so forth, as well as bring in their sponsors. There's about 2,500 students who gather in Brookings. This was their 95th state convention. One of the other things they did, 2,500 students packed 50,000 meals through the Meals of Hope organization. Those will all be donated to Feeding South Dakota and distributed to families in need. Often when meals like that are packed, they go out of country to a number of other places, but this group decided to keep it in state, and that will be helping others around the state of South Dakota. I thought that was a great use of time for FFA members at their convention.
That is a real great use of time.
Maybe I should get more for you guys to do to fill your use of time, because I see all of your. Without a guest today, I'm a little concerned about where exactly all of our topics are going to lead, because this usually means Dean gets a little out of hand.
Me? Right. Wow. Oh, man. Throwing me under the bus when here's the instigator over here to my right.
Bridgette got her first boom today.
She
I
did.
like it.
She
well,
did.
We're going to
Nice.
give you a... We need to get a rim shot over here. I'm going to have to go snag
It's
into
in
Jay's.
Jay's,
Yeah, I got to go somewhere in there.
Well, when we come back, we're going to we'll hit some ag topics. Also, we're going to do a little speed round of trivia. We will and Bridgette, if you want to get some ready for us, we'll get we're going to do weather trivia for you, and you can do some speed ag trivia for us. How does that sound?
Got it.
When we come back.
This will be trivia on ag in various states. So you two get your fingers off of Google, and we'll take care of that.
Dean's
just like
the
Dean said
cheater.
when we come back.
Okay.
We'll be back.
They'll have you laughing right along with them. They're Bonnie and Friends.
You're pretty athletic.
Yeah, I
You
used to
pick it
play
up
tennis
easy.
too back in the day. So,
Used to.
what are you saying? I'm pretty athletic
Are you
still.
still in shape? Are you still
Okay, now I'm going to
Here on
clobber
this
him
show.
when we turn off the microphones,
You
and we'll
two
be back.
are like an old married couple.
We're gonna rename the show.
The odd couple.
I'm not
correction.
the odd couple. He's odd, but
That's
I'm,
what
I guess am I the couple part of the odd? Because he's definitely the odd.
Bonnie and Friends. Catch them weekday mornings beginning at 5.
It's Outback Days going on now at Muscatel's Subaru. While supplies last, Muscatel's has new Outback models available now. No waiting. All with Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive for safety and security 4 seasons of the year. Ask about Muscatel's complimentary accessory credit with new Outback purchase. Muscatel's Subaru, just off Exit 1 in Moorhead or online at muscatelsubaru.com. Subaru, built to last.
Does the air in your home feel stuffy? Does it have that musty smell? Have you ever noticed moisture near the corners of your floor or water seeping into your egress windows? At Precision Concrete Cutters, Ramjack North, we know firsthand the stress that the spring thaw can have on your home.
Don't wait. Contact your complete foundation experts, Precision Concrete Cutters, at 701-280-7038. Or for a free estimate and to learn more, go to pccnd.com.
Do you love working on cars but don't love your current job? If so, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Matthew Carlson, owner of Fix It Forward Auto Care. We're a family-owned full-service auto repair shop looking to hire skilled automotive technicians. With our state-of-the-art shops, great work environment with competitive pay and benefits, you'll enjoy a great job with a bigger purpose and a lot of opportunity for advancement. Visit FixItForwardAutoCare.com to apply. Fix It Forward Auto Care, the name you trust for car repair.
Fix It Forward Auto Care. Spring is finally upon us, and many of us are thinking spring cleaning. This is the perfect time to consider your jewelry as well. Hi, Aaron Wimmer from Wimmer's Diamonds. Bring us your diamonds and precious jewels to clean and inspect. Have an item you'd like to restyle? Let us help you reimagine and create a beautiful, updated piece. Come visit us at our showroom at 4582 32nd Avenue South in Fargo. Reimagine, restyle, only at Wimmer's Diamonds.
Discover Kinder Care. Kinder Care is assisted living homes located in West Fargo, offering adult daycare services, companion care, and assisted living. All the services you need available at Kinder Care, plus home-cooked meals, 24-hour security, personal care, and more, all in a cozy family environment located on 3 acres of land in a scenic, quiet country setting in West Fargo. KinderCareFargo.com or call 701-261-3246.
Attention homeowners, if you experience flood or water damage in your home, don't wait another minute. Contact Rainbow International of Fargo now for immediate water damage restoration services. They understand the urgency of the situation and are here to help 24/7. Whether it's water damage, fire, or mold, their highly trained technicians will quickly assess the damage and work tirelessly to restore your home. Call Rainbow International today at 701-412-4776.
It's about tradition, values, and family ties. Pucklet Chevrolet GMC's tradition of giving back to our community remains a priority, and that's why we've partnered with many local nonprofit organizations and events. And our tradition of giving this community a fair and honest offer continues. Right now, you can save over $6,000 on select new Chevy Silverado 1500s. We're Pucklet Chevrolet GMC in Valley City. Tradition, values, and family ties.
See dealer for details.
Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. It's finally Friday, a free-for-all 121 on this Friday afternoon. And, it's a little chilly outside, but we're going to be going mainly sunny here very, very soon. Can't come soon enough. 52 degrees. Again, we're shooting for low 60s this afternoon. Looking like a nice evening. You want to join in on the show today? Tell us what's going on over at your farm. Are you in the field or are your fields too wet? 80% planted. Where are you sitting? 701-293-9000 is the Red Wing Shoes line. Our field for Here We Grow, we're not planted yet. Our field is too wet, so we're just patiently waiting for it to dry out before we go drag some equipment for the first time through it.
And Bridgette, what's the target date in terms of? I know there's
June 4th.
Is it June 4th the target date?
He's making it up. You don't even know what the question is.
That's our latest we can go.
For insurance purposes.
Okay, for our soybeans for
Yeah.
Cass County, I think you were close. I actually think it was a little bit later in June. If you'd like, I will quickly text Bethany Rent, who is with Irie Insurance, and she's one of our sponsors for Here We Grow, and I bet Bethany will tell me exactly what our deadline is. But we're not quite there yet.
We got
some
plenty of time.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
I'll text Bethany.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
So how about a little trivia? You want to start it, Bridgette, or you want us to?
Okay,
All right, here,
I will. Gentlemen, what is the largest hailstone on record in the U.S. as we approach hail season? What might that be?
The largest hailstone is 8 1/4 inches in South Dakota, 2009.
Oh, so close on all of that.
8 1/3.
Dean?
It was, it used to be in Nebraska, but Justin is right. It is. No, it used to be in Kansas. And then the largest one, that was Coffeyville, Kansas. That was the largest one. And then there was a place a town in Nebraska beat it. But I think Justin might be right. I think there is somewhere in South Dakota did beat that. Was it 8 1/3 inches in diameter?
Boys, have I got a deal for you. Largest hailstone on record was 8 inches in diameter, 8.5 in circumference, and weighed 1.9 pounds. Fell near Vivian, South Dakota on July 23rd, 2010. So Justin was very close. Dean also got the history right. It exceeded existing records of a 7-inch diameter hailstone that fell in June 2003 in Aurora, Nebraska, and a 1.6 pound hailstone fell in September of 1970 in Coffeyville, Kansas.
Can you imagine?
You guys mostly got that right.
That would hurt.
I'm just holding my hands up here. Let's point towards the camera. An 8-inch hailstone. That's about the size of my dang head almost.
It's not that big.
Yes, but
it's not that big.
Pretty close.
But it is close.
That's a big piece of ice.
It would.
How fast do you think that would be traveling towards the ground? That's got to be pushing around 96 miles per hour.
With the weight on that?
Yeah.
Well, the fastest that was going to be one of the trivia questions, but the fastest a raindrop can fall is 23 miles an hour. So you do some math on that and figure in weight and drag, and that would do quite a bit of damage, obviously.
Does that mean when I want to run through the rain to not get as wet, it doesn't matter?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So I did the quick math on the old 8-inch hailstone falling from a thunderstorm. It's roughly 100 miles per hour. So, holy moly! What do you think that would do to a watermelon?
Cut it in
half.
Cut it in half. I think it would explode into many pieces. Take a couple.
All right. Hey, good news. Bethany just got back to me about our planting date for soybeans, and as I said, it was going to be later in June. June 10th. June 10th is our cutoff date.
We have time.
Lots of time.
Yeah, but then your yields aren't going to be as good, and so we want to get that in there within the next week or so.
Yield.
Yeah.
Don't you worry about those yields.
Okay. Do you want to keep going, Bridgette, or do you want to just back and forth here?
Oh, why don't we back and forth? What do you guys got for me?
All right. What country is the lightning capital of the world? What country is the lightning capital of the world?
I am going to go with that giant lightning rod in Paris and say it's France.
I'm going El South America.
Bingo.
And that is going to be off the Bay of something. There's a little city that's tucked away in between the mountains.
What country? What country?
Oh, what country? I thought you were. Oh, well, it would be.
You're right in South America.
Is it Brazil or is it the country that borders on the north side of Brazil?
Venezuela.
There we go.
Venezuela.
Venezuela.
Yep.
I'm doing pretty good today.
Not bad. Not
bad at all.
For lacking sleep, you're doing all right.
Oh, I'm so alive.
All right, shoot it at us, Bridgette.
Got you one. Oh, don't worry, I'll shoot you too. All right, so not that one. Okay, we're gonna go with this one. What state is first in our nation for corn, pork, ethanol, biodiesel, and
Iowa.
egg production?
Iowa.
Justin?
I'm gonna go Nebraska.
And it was Iowa. Sorry about that.
I didn't want to jump on Dean's bandwagon. Figured I'd differentiate here.
What was the giveaway, Dean? Was it pork or corn?
Yeah, it was. I've read something on when I lived in Nebraska, because that's the Cornhusker state. It was always like they'd always get all irritated because they weren't the number one corn producer. It was Iowa. So once that hit, I knew that was the case. All right. What is the name of the? You can't answer this. You know this.
Well, let me hear.
What is the name of the scale used to determine a tornado's intensity strength? What is the name of the scale used to determine a tornado's intensity?
Oh, so it's on the tip of my tongue because it's what we do when we use like E4, E5, all that,
Bingo.
right?
Yep.
And it's a guy's name.
You are correct.
It's his last name.
Mm-hmm.
What in the world do we call that scale? And the reason I can't think of it is I am looking at the name of the hailstorm intensity scale.
I'll give you a hint.
You.
I'll give you a hint. Think of a Mexican dish.
So it's enchilada?
Yes.
It's the enhanced Fujita scale. So Fujita, I was trying to get you towards fajita. Fajita. I was trying to get you.
You could have said.
I was trying to steer you in the right direction.
You could have said a spiky-haired Dragon Ball Z character.
No, that's
Vegeta.
no help here. None. Nothing for me. Sorry.
All right.
So all is fair game here, guys. Ohio is the nation's top producer of what kind of cheese?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Didn't we have a guest on? Didn't we have a guest on that was talking about this?
That was South Dakota and Wisconsin.
But I thought there was one on Ohio. I'm going to go Gouda.
Pepper Jack.
Well, it was a Gouda try, but it's actually Swiss.
Swiss.
So Swiss cheese. Yes.
All right.
I think that would have been Switzerland.
Now, since you grew up on a farm.
Oh, this is the last one?
Bridgette, yeah. Since you grew up on a farm, you should know this one. Okay? What is the proper term for the weather vane that you see on top of a farmhouse that is adorned with a rooster? What is the proper term for the weather vane that you see on top of a farmhouse that is adorned with a rooster?
I thought that was one of the 7 words I'm not allowed to say on air.
Well, when you combine it with the other one.
Wait. Is it like yesterday when we talked about the murder chicken? Can I use that one as my term?
Well, you could. You're going to be wrong.
Okay, I just called it a weather vane. What am I looking for here?
We'll for FCC purposes, we'll just call it a weather rooster, but there's another name that's used. And our producer Jacob said thank you for not letting me use the dump button today.
He's been living in fear every time.
He was nervous. He saw where this was going.
If we don't have a guest and it's just the three of us, Jacob gets extremely nervous in the control room, and I don't blame him.
I can see the FCC squirrel in our chat room right now, and he's giving me a very weird look.
Man, okay, so we're at the bottom of the hour, 1:31 in the afternoon. When we come back, we can continue to quiz each other on all sorts of, I don't want to say useless knowledge because it's sort of fun to do, but also we've got more headlines and a check of the weather, and we'll be back to do all of that after this.
The Jay Thomas Show.
One of the deals was at the Blind Center, we get a weekly trip to Target, and my friend Bob says, hey, you want to go out and enjoy the fresh air outside? Standing out there with Deacon and my white cane and trying to drink my coffee, and the next time I took a drink of my coffee, there's dollar bills and change in my coffee cup. No! They thought I was a panhandler.
Oh, no! Really?
Yeah, I said to ruin my coffee, but at least I made enough I could go in and get a fresh cup.
The Jay Thomas Show on WDAY.
Hi, this is Christy from the Hot Tub Store. Melt away your stress in a Caldera spa. A daily hot tub ritual can help you feel calm no matter what life throws your way. Stop into our showroom and see how we can improve your wellness. Financing is available. The Hot Tub Store, located just south of Costco. Check out our website, thehottubstoreND.com. That's thehottubstoreND.com.
The Hot Tub Store, 815 23rd Avenue East in West Fargo, right across from Costco. The Hot Tub Store.
Attention Class A truck drivers. Plains Grain and Agronomy is looking for a full-time Class A driver in Marion, North Dakota. Plains Grain and Agronomy has a great culture, great pay, and full benefits for full-time employees. If you take pride in your work and want to offer great customer service, join the Plains Grain and Agronomy team of drivers today. Apply online. plainsgrain.com. That's plainsgrain.com.
It's me, Janae from the Coffee Club, and I am super excited to tell you that HotWorks Fitness Center is opening soon on Highway 10 East in Moorhead. Unique infrared workout sessions, including yoga, Pilates, and cycles, great for weight loss, improved circulation, detoxification, and so much more. If you become a HotWorks VIP member right now, it's only $10 to enroll and $44 a month, saving you $15 a month. So become a founding member. Find HotWorks Moorhead on Facebook.
Foston Tri-Co-op is hiring an agronomy manager. Must have sales and agronomy experience, able to sell crop protection, fertilizer, and chemicals. College degree in agronomy or equal experience is preferred. Enjoy competitive salary and benefits including health, long-term disability, dental, life insurance, HAS, paid vacation, and retirement match and profit sharing. Email resume to jen.howard@fostoncoop.com or call 218-435-6919 and ask for Brent. Foston Tri-Co-op, hiring an agronomy manager, and it could be you.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-330-1991. That's 1-800-330-1991. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-330-1991. SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
So you just used bug spray in your home. Now what? Well, between the waiting and waiting for things to dry up and keeping your family away from the mess, it hits you. You could have used Zevo. Unlike other bug sprays that stick around, Zevo goes from kill to clean in seconds. Plus, it's safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Zevo, people-friendly, bug deadly.
Let the Goose River Bank become your community bank. They believe a strong bank builds strong communities and would be proud to be your bank.
And welcome back to WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. Or it's a free-for-all Friday, so we might be slightly out of focus. Right. I'm Bridgette Readel, Ag Director, along with Meteorologist Extraordinaire Justin Storm and Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki. Oh, Justin's so excited I used his appropriate title.
Indeed I am. I don't know. He said something to me, but I didn't hear it. And I was trying to figure out
I'll tell you later.
I was trying to figure out what it was.
I'll tell you later.
You two are standing right next to each other. Perhaps you could communicate on a regular basis. Just asking.
But that means I have to talk to him.
Not my deal. Sorry,
Right.
guys.
She's not in the studio.
Right.
Dang.
So all good. So something that's going to be going on later this summer is a trade show called Farm Fest, very similar to what we do with Big Iron up here in the Red River Valley. Farm Fest takes place in Redwood Falls, Minnesota, and they currently have nominations open for Woman Farmer of the Year. They have a sister organization called Dakota Fest in South Dakota later that month, and they also have something called the Country Woman of the Year there. Nominations are open for those women who spend a lot of their time dedicated to raising crops and cattle and all the other community events that they do. So if you know someone who's fitting and deserving of that, please go to farmfest.com to nominate. Actually, next week, we're going to have South Dakota's Country Woman of the Year, V.B. Thomas, join us, actually a week from today. And we'll get to talk with those women after they win and kind of get their impression of what they do and what this might mean for them in their communities. So looking forward to having that happen, but get those nominations in, folks.
Nice.
See, Dean, I know somebody that we could nominate.
I do too. Are you thinking of the same person I am?
You know, we probably are.
Okay.
Maybe not, but probably are.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should nominate
So,
her.
Okay.
Your mom?
Well, yeah, I guess, yeah, it would be my mom.
And for those who don't know, Justin calls me mom when I come to the studio, and I can't tell yet if that's a good or a bad thing. Goodness. All right, guys, what else do you got to throw at me today? Or are we going to do some headlines?
Oh, we got a few headlines that we
let's
can
kick in some headlines.
tackle before we start talking about Antarctica, Area 51, and Bob Lazar. By the way, wow. All I got to say to that for now about Bob Lazar.
No clue.
No clue. Do you know who Bob Lazar
No
is?
idea.
Producers in there? Bob Lazar? Yeah, we got a couple head shakes. All right, we'll talk about Bob Lazar later.
Sure.
Why don't we go ahead and let's hit on one from a couple of days ago. We didn't have time to. This comes back from Tuesday. And this would be maximizing soybean production when planting the crop. Bridgette, what kind of information or techniques might you have for maximizing soybean production when planting the crop?
Well, there's a couple of things. You know, our job is a soybean producer because, yes, technically, gentlemen, we are soybean producers this year. We have three big factors we want to use: light, water, and the nutrients. So we're going to start with planting our right population. And when we were with our sponsor, Peterson Farm Seed, they talked to us about population planting, why we want to get the right amount of seeds in the field to begin with so we can hit our yield goal, which Justin has set at 65 bushel beans this year. So we're going to have to do that. Also, if we thought that this field had too many rocks on it, which I don't think we're going to face here in the Red River Valley, we could actually roll that field. Have you guys seen a land roller? Familiar with what that looks like?
Yes.
Okay. So it looks like a great big drum. It's like a drum laying on its side. You're pulling it behind a tractor. You're literally going to push rocks down into the soft soil so that when we get towards harvest, when you have to run a header on a combine lower, you're not sucking rocks up into that machine. One of the things to keep in mind is we would generally do that either before our plants emerge, or if our soybeans are up, we want to do it in a warmer part of the day. So watching the forecast from you guys and the LRC so that we know to do it later in the day when the plants are more flexible. If you do it in the morning when it's cooler out, they're brittle and they can break off. And soybeans don't necessarily like that, but Giving them a little bit of stress, makes them branch out more, gives us more growing points, more pods, potentially more yield. Some things to keep in mind for our bean crop.
That's what I like to hear. That's how we're going to get to our 65 bushels.
If we actually get close to that, just over average of 40, 45 bushel, our listeners are going to be ecstatic to see that we got there.
They're going to ask what the trick was, too.
I ain't going to tell you either.
Yeah. All right.
Well, actually, I might have to. I probably shouldn't hold those kind of secrets.
No.
What's good for our farm is not necessarily good for everyone's farm, though. They're all different.
But we're going to try.
We are going to try and beat them all, though. Little healthy competition. We ain't getting anywhere, but I'm shooting for 65.
I can't wait to see it. It's going to look good.
Yes, it will. All right, let's see here. We got another one that I was kind of along the same lines from Tuesday as well. And this was along the lines of soybeans, and we just kind of learned a little bit to improve maximizing your yield and production. What about avoiding sudden death syndrome in soybeans? What is that? How do we prevent it, or at least avoid it?
Okay, so sudden death syndrome in soybeans, not necessarily that common, but has become more so in the last few years. And it is consistently rated as one of the most damaging U.S. soybean crop diseases. It can reduce our yield by up to 25%. Well, gentlemen, we can't possibly afford that. So we're going to have to keep an eye out here. It's a fungal disease that would start soon after planting, rotting the roots, but not causing obvious damage to the plant. Symptoms will go undetected until our plant reaches a reproductive stage, and then toxins produced by the fungus will move to the leaves. So it actually sounds like a really slow death, but until it's happening before you realize it. So once you realize it, then it's a sudden death of your plant. And that root rot stage prevents plants from taking in its adequate nutrients, causing more stress on the plant. While if you're seeing it in the foliar stage, that prevents the leaves from photosynthesis, from bringing in more sunlight, etc., for the growth of the plant. So that's yet another thing that we may have to pay attention to. Also, you would look for that as far as traits when you're buying soybean seed as well. Keep that in mind.
There we go. All things we got to avoid, including those weeds.
Well,
we had weeds in our
bad
field.
News. We did. We had water hemp and kochia already starting.
Oh man.
I don't think that's a surprise.
But we talked about how we're going to fix that in episode 5 of Here We Grow, which again just launched today.
And more people are going to be excited to go watch that the more we talk about it, because it's out there. Now you get a chance to look and follow along, subscribe, so that every week you get our new videos.
And again, that's on our YouTube and Facebook pages, Weather and Ag in Focus, or at Wagon Focus.
Yes, all good things. I don't know if I want to call this trivia, but okay, so I found this the other day and I thought it was pretty cool. There are 6 vegetables that are actually the same plant. So follow me if you will.
6 vegetables.
Okay. Over hundreds of years, farmers have been breeding one particular plant, Brassica oleracea, into dozens of different varieties. So there are 6 vegetables you can find in your grocery store that are actually starting from the same plant. So a wild mustard plant, and I did see just 1 or 2 wild mustard plants in our field yesterday. From that, if the breeding takes place to make changes with the leaves, you would get kale. Using the terminal leaf bud, you'd get cabbage. Using the lateral leaf buds, Brussels sprouts. The flower buds and stem could lead to broccoli. Flower buds could also lead to cauliflower. And using the stem, you could breed for kohlrabi. So different varieties coming off of one plant, just with changes in breeding programs over the last many years.
Very interesting. Who would have guessed?
They're all related.
I've never heard of kohlrabi by using the stem.
Kohlrabi?
Yeah.
So that's the breeding portion of that plant going from a wild mustard plant, selectively breeding with those characteristics of that stem to reach the kohlrabi plant. And if you've never eaten kohlrabi, Dean, after I raise some in the garden this year, I'll bring it in for you.
What's it taste like? Like a broccoli or
the ranch dressing you dip it in?
Yeah, right. Perfect.
But it's pretty good.
Okay.
I'll bring that in for all of your salads to go with your carrots you're constantly eating.
Perfect.
That would work.
Hey, Bridgette, we had a phone call while we were doing that. And it came in. It was from, I believe it was Trucker Oscar. He had a question about rolling beans and how tall they can get before you can't roll them.
You don't want to let them get to be very tall at all. I mean, we can talk about trifoliate stages, et cetera, but how about if we were just to say once they're probably about 5 inches tall, I think we'd be hitting the timeline where we better have rolled them or things are going to get a little dicey before the plant gets too far advanced.
Really?
Just making an estimated guess.
Up to 5 inches? Like, we're talking about the plant now, right? Doesn't it just, want that just flatten, kill it, snap it at the base?
Well, they're still fairly pliable, and if you're doing it on a warmer day, I'm not saying it has to be 100, but let's say your day is around 85 degrees and they have some pliability in the plant, they'll tip over, they'll push over but come back up. It's better than if you did it when it was colder out and they snap off entirely.
Wow.
Looks like I need to get you guys in a tractor with a roller.
Man, I've been doing it wrong on my game.
Well, maybe that's why
I've just been smashing the seeds into the dirt.
You could do this differently, Justin.
Soil people.
That's right.
Well, there we go. I'm going to have to try that different when I jump on there. Well, hey, you want to join in this conversation? I get some questions in there like Oscar did. 701-293-9000 is the Red Wing shoe line. By the way, thank you, Oscar, for reaching out to us. So you can always reach us via email, weatherag@flagfamily.com. We're going to get updated with the American Ag Network, come back, got a couple more topics, look at the forecast, and maybe chat a little bit about who Bob Lazar is in this Area 51 talk. And this is actually something I really do believe in. So if you want to join in on this, if you believe it or not, or what your thoughts are, again, the Red Wing Shoes phone line, 701-293-9000. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Rev up your engines for Track Talk with Jason Berg, the ultimate racing radio show every Monday night at 6:30 on WDAY Radio. From the hottest drivers, latest racing news and analysis, to recaps of the best dirt track races in the region. All live from O'Kelly's Bar and Grill. If the dirt's flying, you can bet Jason Berg is covering it. Track Talk is brought to you in part by Brenco, Johnson's Auto Repair, North Dakota Retriever Club, Welton's Tire Service, and WDAY Radio.
Your wellness is within reach with Hot Spring Spas and Pool Tables too. Enjoy every day made better with a Hot Spring Spa, in stock and ready to deliver today. For less than $99 per month, you can be physically better below the water, mentally better above the water, and relationally better beyond the water. Stop thinking about it and just do it. You'll be glad you did. Already have a hot tub? Trade up to a new saltwater hot tub and receive an extra $1,500. Wellness, every day made better. Hot Spring Spas and Pool Tables too. West Fargo, Grand Forks, Bismarck.
Everyone at Dakota Rural Water District would like to say to all graduates, you are an achiever. Your hard work finally paid off. You have made us all proud. Congratulations to the graduating class of 2023. Wishing you the best of luck as you journey into the future. Soak in this moment. It's well deserved. Have a fun and happy graduation from your friends at Dakota Rural Water District in Findlay. Online at dakotaruralwater.com.
Congratulations to the class of 2023. Your life is a story, and the adventure ahead is the journey to fulfill your own purpose and potential. Ray Mack Inc. is proud of your accomplishments and is eager to see you succeed in the years to come. Wherever you go, go with all of your heart. Wishing you the best of luck in your future endeavors from everyone at Ray Mack Inc. in Gwinner. Happy graduation to all.
Rich Rispa with American Ag Network here for this market update. We're chatting with Arlen Suderman of Stone X. Arlen, as I look at the numbers today, we got a bit of a mixed bag. They were strong early on, but wheat has kind of started tanking again today. What are you making of these markets?
Well, there's several factors going on. First of all, the factors that led to the big bloodbath in the grain and oilseed sector this week are still largely in place. I did kind of expect to see somewhat of a bounce going into the weekend when the headlines continued to be there, and some of these funds had some big profits on these short positions. I know that's painful to hear producers say, but there are people profiting from the market going down, and they want to take some of those profits going into the weekend. But I felt like it was was just a bounce at that point, and that seems to be playing out. The weakness in Kansas City wheat certainly coming back in. We're seeing weakness in soybeans coming back as well. We specifically look at Kansas City, Minneapolis wheat. We're seeing a correction in values there. First of all, we have the reports of wheat being imported from Poland and other European areas into the United States for milling here in the United States. Number one, that shows that hard red winter wheat had gotten too expensive relative to other alternative supplies. Second of all, with the Kansas City at such a large premium to Chicago, we were seeing a move by millers to blend soft red winter wheat and hard red spring wheat together to displace the hard red winter wheat. And so that tremendously changes the balance sheets between classifications of wheat. And that's what we're seeing, some of that correction now between the wheat markets. And overall, we're still in a bearish mode. We need to be on the defensive.
Those have been comments by Arlen Suderman, chief economist of StoneX. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Ristvet.
Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. I want to thank everybody for joining us this afternoon. Finally, we're starting to see a little more breaks in the clouds here in the FM area. And within the next hour or so, we'll start to see more and more sunshine. That's good news there. And that's going to lead to a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Bridgette, you had an email question come in.
I did.
What was that all about?
I did. One of our listeners said, what is that optimal planting population? I hadn't mentioned what it was for our particular field. So based on our ground conditions, et cetera, he wanted to know. So I went to our Peterson Farm Seed sales rep, Michael, and said, hey, what's our optimum planting for that field? He knows that land extremely well. Just wanted to verify notes I had taken before. And Michael said, if we're using the planter, that's 140,000 plants. If we're going to use the drill, it's 160,000. So just wanted to let people know what that answer would be.
There we go.
And you want to hit on your conspiracy theory individual there?
Oh, yeah, I suppose we can talk about good old Bob Lazar. Some of you might know who he is. Many of you probably don't. But if you want to join in, 701-293-9000. You guys know who Joe Rogan is, right?
Oh, yeah.
The guy with the podcast, Joe Rogan Experience. Well, I was dinking around on YouTube the other day, and I started watching one of his podcasts. By the way, podcasts are excellent. They're great. They are long, but they are worth a listen. But he had
Joe Rogan's
podcast. Yeah, he's got all sorts of fun guests on there. Well, they had Bob Lazar and the guy who directed a documentary about him. I'm forgetting what his name is off the top of my head, but the name of that documentary is the Bob Lazar Area 51 and Flying Saucers, released in 2018. It's on Netflix. But basically what Bob Lazar is, he's a guy who said that he worked at Area 51. He's a physicist that got brought in there to do this reverse engineering project.
He's
on a
proclaimed
UFO.
physicist.
Well, he is a physicist, but he proclaims he reverse engineered or worked on UFOs at Area 51 or a subbase around Area 51. And while he was dinking around inside these UFOs, he goes into quite a bit of detail in this interview, and it's kind of interesting just to listen to the guy talk about all of this stuff. He claims that he may have found what this fuel source was for. It was an anti-gravity machine is what he was referring to, and they hypothesized that it is what allows the vehicle to fly in whatever things. It creates like a photonic envelope, or not a photonic envelope, but some envelope around the craft that allows it to move through space. And he claimed that it was element 115, moscovium, in 1989. That element wasn't synthetically created here on the planet until about 13 years later in an unstable form. And to this day, we still don't have a stable form of that element. So it's kind of interesting because he came out and they were talking about it, and then they end up creating the same element 13 years later. It's kind of interesting because he technically does not exist. Bob Lazar, his birth certificate, education records, employment records, everything about the guy has been scrubbed from history, and the only proof of his existence is, of course, him, a few people he knows that used to work at some of these institutions that he worked at, and 1 or 2 people at the university that he attended classes at. And that's the only proof and documentation that Bob Lazar exists.
So are you saying he's an alien, or are you saying he knows too much information?
He knows too much information if the information that he's talking about is true. And to some degree, I believe what he's had to say. It's a 2-hour-long conversation with him, the documenter, and then Joe Rogan. If you want to watch that, I think it's just Bob Lazar, Area 51 and UFOs, same title as the documentary on Netflix. But
I can see Bridgette; she's bookmarking it already.
Well, it's really interesting to listen to this guy talk because he doesn't come off like a
quack.
Well,
crazy,
a little quackish, but not like unbelievable though. I mean, he never directly jumps to any conclusions with this. He just talks about what he experienced.
Are you watching these things late at night with not enough sleep, trying to put baby Storm back to bed? Because
about 12 pounders deep.
Working. Yeah, this is probably not working in your favor, sir.
No, not 12. Maybe 4. But
okay, fine.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know. I just thought it was kind of interesting. I didn't know if anyone else out there has heard of this guy. They had any thoughts on it. Producer, he's heard of it. He
sounds like this guy should be on the George Norrie show.
George Norrie.
Get him on Jay's.
Ooh, actually, that would be pretty fun. That would be pretty fun.
Yeah, he can join Jay after the 2:00 hour today, today or next week or whenever they can.
I think the dude stopped talking about it because all the backlash that he's been getting and people trying to contact him, and he says he's like, I regret it and I don't regret it because he feels people have like the right to know this information, but he's like, the amount of attention I've gotten because of it is just something he does not want.
Okay.
Let's go to an ag topic now. Let's go to an ag topic, Bridgette.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Justin. Dean and I are both like, oh, we're out of here. Okay. NDSU Extension is doing an event. They are looking for farmers or ranchers who would be part of a focus group. They're going to be doing Zoom interviews, so no one has to travel. They're looking for participants. They would not need to use their real names. They will agree to respect the privacy of others. And this study and this information would be talking to them about the constraints and opportunities they face about their well-being in their operations every day. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we want to make sure to highlight that as much as possible. NDSU wants to do more work in this area. If you are a farmer or rancher and have an interest in participating, you're welcome to send me an email, ag@flagfamily.com. I'll share the link with you. Or email directly to caroline.holman, Homan, @ndsu.edu. There'll be a little gift for you at the end, but they would very much like to get more folks to participate if they possibly could. So just want to make sure to pass that along for anyone who has the opportunity to participate. Appreciate it.
Great. And should we take one more look at the forecast before we bolt on out of here for the weekend?
Yep. Yeah, there's a pocket of cooler weather, 40s and low 50s hanging over the FM area into Lakes Country. But just to our north, temperatures already in the 50s and 60s. We're starting to see more sunshine push into the FM area, and we'll see increasing sunshine for the rest of the afternoon. It's going to be a real nice evening. It will warm up quickly once that sun comes out. We should reach a lower 60s by evening. As we head into the weekend, we're looking at temperatures into the 70s, maybe close to 80 on Sunday. I'll tell you what, this looks like a phenomenal weekend. Get out and enjoy it. A little breezy on Saturday, lighter winds on Sunday. And then as we head into next week, we'll start off Monday and Tuesday in the 80s. And then a slight chance for a few storms, maybe Tuesday night into Wednesday. And still a lot of question marks on late next week. Into the Memorial Day weekend, could see a few more storms, and they could be on the strong side. We'll keep an eye on those towards Memorial Day weekend, and it wouldn't be Memorial Day weekend without rain. It always
rains every Memorial Day.
Always happens, but at least we're going to be mild after today. After we get rid of these clouds, we're on a nice mild streak of weather, so that's great news. And again, a nice stretch of dry weather. This should help dry out a lot of these fields and. Like Bridgette said, hopefully by the middle of next week we can get out there and start planting our beans.
Need to get them in the dirt.
Soil.
Well,
anytime I can poke,
that will do it for today. It's Friday. Let's get out of here. Coming up next, the Jay Thomas Show. Everybody have a great weekend.
AM 970 and FM 93.1.